Good morning, namaskar. I'd like to thank Mitch, MD Cinemacon, Laura, LPJ Productions, and the entire team for inviting me here to speak at one of the most significant events of the industry. And thank you everyone for showing up this morning. I understand this is the first time an Indian exhibitor has been invited, so I'm truly humbled and I'm truly honored. In these 15 minutes, I'd like to cover as much as I can on the global trends, my own two-bit suggestions on what collectively needs to be done to resuscitate the exhibition sector and also to introduce India and the craziness of the Indian movie landscape. Let me start with India first. We're the world's largest democracy with a population of 1.4 billion people. We're the fifth largest economy at USD 3.5 trillion and growing at a rapid pace of over 6%. The Indian consumer is spending a lot. It crossed 300 billion USD in the last quarter of 2022 alone. And also, as is widely known, we've got the largest number of millennials and Gen Z on the planet. 65% of Indians are under the age of 35. And of course, we're a movie-crazy nation. So here is a little snippet of that. La pata zulu, la pata zulu, la pata zulu, I'm going to resist the temptation of getting into a Nato Nato song just now and make this as dignified as possible. But that was the madness of movie watching. There's a wedding scene there as well, by the way. Somebody actually got married in the cinema last year. All 4 functions. So this passion that you just witnessed is what makes cinema India's #1 out-of-home entertainment with the highest number of admissions globally. We make more than 1,800 films annually in over 20 languages. The Indian box office surpassed USD 1.3 billion in 2022, which is equal to the pre-COVID levels of 2019. And we're also amongst the few markets where we continue to grow, adding about 400 screens a year. Now that I've given you a little spicy flavor of India, let me just talk about the global exhibition as it stands today. I just want to remind everybody once again, I know it's been said before, that our sector has faced a lot over the last century and decades, from World War I to II to the Spanish flu, and now with the advent of streaming. But cinema has always prevailed. Hence, we have every reason to remain confident that this difficult phase too shall pass. So far, the trend has been very promising. For example, the number of new releases already have increased by 36%, 89 to 121, and the number of wide releases have increased by 12% from 16 to 18 in the first quarter here since last year. And over the years, in spite of all the technologies and out-of-home entertainment options, cinema has always grown. Pre-COVID global box office had exceeded USD 40 billion for 3 consecutive years. While we're nowhere near the pre-COVID levels, we are heading in the right directions. with an 81% year-on-year increase in global box office in 2021 and a 22% year-on-year increase in 2022. The start of the current year has also been very promising. We recorded the best first quarter since 2019 and ended up with $8 billion global box office within the first 3 months. But of course, a lot needs to be further done. We can attribute this to many factors. For example, premium experiences are back, and IMAX having the best first quarter in its history. The big is getting bigger. Big blockbusters are continuing to dominate with films like Avatar 2, Top Gun, Wakanda Forever, making global and local marks in the box office. The same thing is reciprocated in our country as well. In fact, post-COVID, regional films like RRR, Hollywood Avatar 2, Bollywood Pathan have broken all-time box office records, surpassing what they had even achieved pre-COVID. It just goes to show that once a movie connects with the audiences, there is no upper ceiling to how well it can perform. More recently, the success of features like Mario Brothers and earlier Puss in Boots shows that families are also back. Blockbusters are working, and so are mid-sized films. Several movies released last year also broke the myth that mid-sized movies are not performing well post-pandemic. The bottom line is we have all reasons to remain optimistic. Now, if you can indulge me a little bit about, I'm going to talk a little bit about my own company. So we were the first to launch PVR Cinemas, PVR INOX in 1997. Our philosophy has always been to celebrate movies. As you know, in India, movie going is a celebration. And we've led in every aspect of exhibition space, from design to cinema concepts, technology, F&B, marketing, and customer service. Consumers are looking for an out-of-home entertainment experience, and there is no compromise that we've ever made on delivering the wow factor right from the entry to exit. Our key pillars have always been design to begin with. We want to completely transport our audiences from the moment they open our doors to our foyers, through the concession stands, to our auditoriums, and take them to the world of make-believe. I mean, movies are, they transport you to another world, and we want the world that we've created as well is as close to what is unfolding on the screen. We obviously offer a range of premium seating solutions, all formats like IMAX, 4DX, ICE, all differentiated cinema concept. Since India is a very disparate market, you've got people at every price point come to cinemas. So we've tried to provide an elevated experience right from a ticket price of as low as $2 to as high as $20. Food and beverage is a very important part. We use international and Indian celebrity chefs and have an array of food that goes beyond popcorn, cola, and the standard cinema food to cater to the diverse audience needs. We've also recently started a home delivery, which has been very successful, and now we're the 5th largest QSR brand in India. Finally, personalized digital engagement. We believe in developing a robust calendar of marketing events. We leverage our loyalty program of 40 million customers to understand the customer needs. But then, of course, all this came to a sudden halt in March 2020. Like every other cinema company, we also got badly impacted. But we tried to find some light in this darkness, and we managed to find an opportunity in this adversity. And as Winston Churchill famously said, "Never let a good crisis go to waste," and neither did we. So earlier this year, we ended up merging with the second largest player to make our balance sheet stronger and confront the headwinds which are facing our industry. We're now the 5th largest listed multiplex chain globally, attracting 180 million admissions with revenues of $700 million annually. We currently operate approximately 1,700 screens in 115 cities in India and Sri Lanka. We're also proud to have the highest admissions per screen per year of about 126,000 customers per screen per year. That was enough about us. Thanks for indulging me. Now, towards the end of my presentation, although I'm sitting in an incredibly experienced, august company of people, I'd still like to share my 2 bits from my own experience as a keen observer of the industry and a well-wisher of how we can revive and the role all of us have to play. Let me start with the exhibitors. I think we need to adapt ourselves to the changing landscape and the consumer behavior. We need to make cinemas more relevant. We need to reimagine and reinvent, keeping the youth in mind, making them cutting edge and experiential with some more formats, technology and hospitality, so cinema once again can be celebrated. We should use our loyalty programs and our database to communicate directly. Kids, everybody's just glued to their telephones, and ensure that we are customizing our communication to them, and we get those back who are coming less to the cinemas. We need to be very open to the idea of using various pricing strategies as a marketing tool, whether it's through subscription programs, bundling of various offers, tiering and segmentation to attract customers at different price points. We need to build out-of-home entertainment destinations and not just cinemas, completely differentiated from watching content at home. Coming to the studios, first of all, I'm thankful, grateful to all our studio partners in the US, globally, and in India to support us during and post-COVID for the revival of cinemas. At the same time, I'd like to urge the filmmakers to increase the quantity of movies meant for the big screen. We need more films, whether they are larger than life or mid-sized. We need studios to further ramp up productions to keep audiences coming back for more. With all the experimentation behind us, theatrical window must stay. Windows have existed for decades. Studios have created events around IP and made it more valuable. We need to maintain the monetization journey that's always been there of content. I dare say at the cost of alienating myself, increasing windows further is not a thought that we should shy away from. Thank you. Coming to the streaming platforms, I think it's not a binary discussion of either or. I'm pretty exhausted with that discussion, even back home. I think we're here to coexist. There's no question about the fact that incredibly high-quality, world-class, addictive, binge-worthy content has been created. However, I do believe that this talk about consumers having a choice to watch their content anytime, anywhere, is something that has to be very carefully thought of. It would be a short-lived strategy if we reduce windows, because consumers will miss out on the big-budget films that won't be able to recoup their investments if they come too quickly to the platforms. Choice should be given, but in such a manner that the overall pie of the film industry increases and everybody benefits and coexists. These are two completely different movie-watching concepts. It's utilitarian versus experiential. Theatrical releases set the quantitative and the qualitative benchmark, which drives greater value for the streamers and for everyone. Let's create a perfect ecosystem, attuned to make content bigger, leveraging our inherent strengths. The longer a film runs, the better it does on streaming. The recent news that streaming players like Apple and Amazon are planning to invest more in content for theaters is also a big shot in the arm for cinemas. I'm hoping that others will also follow. I think it's obvious that we all need to work together and not necessarily look at this word called disruption. I just find disruption a very destructive word, so we don't need to use it that often. We need to coexist. Despite everything that I've said about the roles all of us have to play, the most important thing that gives us a lot of hope is this quote by Aristotle that man is by nature a social animal. I heard a phrase in one of the previous speeches that if content is king, cinema is the kingdom. Of course, that makes us all feel very good. But I think the real king is the customer. And the customer wants to go out. He doesn't want to be incarcerated at home, especially after the pandemic. And he will always commit himself to the big screen. Therefore, it's important for us to remain optimistic, keep our chins up, and do all that it takes to get him back to the magic of the big screen. Because we all love to experience, to celebrate this togetherness called cinema. Thank you once again for inviting me here today to share my thoughts. My best wishes to everyone for a blockbuster year ahead. Thank you.